Today's walk starts at Digley Reservoir car park, and the objective is to end up on Black Hill. If you can see behind me, the clag is down, so it's not very promising for good views, which is unfortunate because there should be some today. Well, I've followed the path on the left hand side of the reservoir from the car park, and I'm now joining the cloughs way, which I'm going to follow for the next mile or so before I leave it and head for open moorland. There are two reservoirs here. The lower reservoir is Digley, which was constructed much later than Bilberry Reservoir. Now, Bilberry Reservoir, whilst it has quite a quaint name, has a bit of a tragic history to it. In 1852, the dam I'm standing on burst, and over 80 million gallons of water poured down the Holme Valley, leaving a path of destruction behind it. It's certainly interesting reading about the history behind the tragic failure of the dam in 1852. It killed 81 people, and that must make it one of the worst disasters of this type in this country. Well, this is the view down onto Bilberry Reservoir. From what I can believe, it was a management issue. The commissioners of the building of the dam, the local mill owners, they went for the cheapest tender. Must have picked some contractors who weren't up to the job. I believe the foundations of the dam weren't very good, and quite early on it was already suffering from leaks. Well, I'm just passing Greaves Head now on this track which makes for easy walking. Well, I think this must be Good Bent Lodge, so we'll be leaving the track shortly. But it's got some fair sized windows on this building at the front there. Well, we're going to leave Nether Lane now at this public footpath sign, and we're going to head across Good Bent Moor. But first of all, we've got to get down into the clough and cross it. Well, that's a bit of a fancy metal gate there we're going to go through, and we're going to then head down into Ramsden Clough, which is down there. I think if we look across the hillside there, we see the track across the moor, which I think that's the track we're going to be picking up. Ah, that's good. I can see quite a good footbridge there across Ramsden Clough. I was actually wondering whether I was going to have to ford the stream, but apparently not. Well, that's the view back across to the two buildings I passed on the way up. Well, that was a really pleasant and not too difficult trip over Good Bent Moor, and now we're on what's called Issues Road. Not sure it looks too much like a road. Now, if I go the way I'm actually facing now, that will actually take me back to Holme Bridge, I think, and that in itself would make quite a nice circular walk. But our objective is to head this way and find the Pennine Way up there somewhere. Well, we've come to the end of the road, and it's a case of making our way up the hillside now. Well, that wasn't a too difficult short climb up that hillside, and to reach the Pennine Way. In fact, I've come across a sign here which suggests that that in very wet weather you can take a diversion down the Cloughs Way and go across that bridge we went across. Well, I think this has been paved since Alfred Wainwright did the Pennine Way, and hopefully this is going to take me all the way to Black Hill. Oh, we've left the pavement behind now. We're on the plateau and we're in search of the trig point. Well, we're back on pavement again, and it's probably a good job, because if you look here, see how wet it is. You don't want to be having to trudge through that. Well, here we are at trig point at Black Hill. As I arrive, two people leave. You can see how the trig stands on that plinth, and I assume that there's been quite a lot of erosion up here. Now my next objective is a transmitter at Holme Moss, which should be clearly visible. It's probably not more than a mile away, can't see it. Well, the next objective is to kind of head to the top of Ramsden Clough. We can't head straight for the mast even if we could see it, because of the clough, so we've got to head towards the top of the clough. But can you see how easy it could be to get lost up here when the clag's down like this? Well, I'm expecting this bit to be wet and boggy, and the last time I came off Black Hill this way I was quite fortunate, because I think there'd been a fell race and they'd marked the path out with flag sticks. I've already kind of got on the wrong side of this, and my feet are getting, oops, just gone down, God, my feet. Well, I'm at the top of Ramsden Clough now. That path was really easy to follow, very wet underfoot. I'm wearing shoes, so my feet are sodden. Now I've just got to head over to the other side and find my way to the transmitter at Holme Moss. What I didn't realise until I actually read up about it was the fact that Black Hill was once the county top of Cheshire until they changed the boundaries. Now I think it's the highest point in West Yorkshire. You see all this netting here on this P tag. I assume they're trying to reseed it and get some vegetation back on there. Well, I was going to say it's drier on this side, but I'll be totally wrong in saying that, because it's got very wet again underfoot. Can you see the transmitter? No, neither can I. I got a glimpse of it. I think that's a better view there. It's just clearing a bit now. Well, here we are at the Holme Moss summit. When I came over this morning, I couldn't see any of this. This is completely under the clag, and I'm in Yorkshire here, and look back and I can see the signs for Derbyshire. Well, this car park at Holme Moss appears to be closed. Not exactly sure why. There's a car park further up which is open, which I've just come through. Some information boards here. There we go, Bogtastic. Here, shame about the poor visibility, but here we would have had splendid views down into the Holme Valley. Anyway, our next objective is Ramsden Clough. Quite a nice view there down to Digley Reservoir, and I think we'll be heading that way at some point. But first of all, we've got to head along this moor top. Come on, sheep, out the way. Well, that's a clearer view of the Holme Valley. It's nice, no? Well, this is Ramsden Clough. How lovely it looks. Now the aim is to actually follow the clough down at some point, but at the moment we're going to have to stop on the top and then find a way to drop down. Certainly won't be coming down into the clough from here. This is where we cross the clough and get up onto the other side and follow it around for a while. That really does look lovely down there. I think the route down is going to be on the hillside directly opposite me, down by the trees somewhere. And you get a good view across to the Ramsden rocks there. You won't want to find a path off that side and come over the top of them. As I head around to Ruddle Clough, I'm I'm getting another view down the down Ramsden Clough, but for the moment I'm going to have to just follow the top here. There you go, lo and behold, I can see the transmitter now at Holme Moss, as clear as anything. The original transmitter at Holme Moss was erected in 1951 and brought TV to the north of England. How exciting. That's the top of Ruddle Clough there. There's a couple of grouse butts, and you can see there's a, well, I can see there's a path up to them, so that's the path we're going to actually follow down into the clough. Well, these are the trees I could see earlier on, and at some point I'm going to have to start dropping down, but I'm not sure when, and it's quite important to get the right path, I think. Well, here you can see there's kind of a fork. It's tempting to follow the one on the right, but that will keep me too high, and I think when I came down this clough for the very first time a good few years ago, I kept high and got into a bit of a pickle, so I think the one to follow is this one on the left, and hope that it gets me down to the bottom. Yes, this definitely looks like the path down, and we get a nice view back up the valley. Another choice of paths here, and I think I don't want to carry straight on. I need to cut back now down the valley, but it's very easy to pick up the wrong path. There are obvious signs of industrial activity in this valley. Unfortunately, I didn't do my homework and read up about it, so I think that's going to have to be an exercise later. Well, the last time I came down here, I crossed that bridge and I went on the other side and followed a track through the woods there. But I'm going to try something a bit different. I'm going to keep to open access land and see if I can pick another track up further up the hill. Well, I'm following the line of a dry stone wall with is it Greenhouse Haywood on my left hand side. Well, I've met up with the Kirklees Way again, which I'll follow all the way back to the car. I've done just over 9.5 miles, so I can only think there'll be about another mile to go. It should be pretty straightforward this, but this has been an absolutely superb walk. It's a shame about the clag earlier on, but in some ways it's good to be reminded of what visibility can be like when the cloud is down. Right, we're just about to cross the dam here at Ramsden Reservoir. I'm just waiting for a couple to cross it because the path isn't terribly wide. Well, we're not very far from Holme village now. We're there in the next minute or so, but we'll just take a look around just to see where we've been all along that top. Interesting building. Holme School, rebuilt by subscription, 1838, and then there's a date stone over the door, 1694. The views are so good now, I can even see the transmitter at Emily Moor. Ironic.